Dex has actually had to miss not just one, but like 1.5 events. He actually made it 2 clone eventually, but Heroic have been doing pretty poorly even with him. And when we get into this game, we also got to remember that they lost 2-0 to OG in the Blast Premier Full Showdown, which is online. And that was like, that's a pretty bad result. Bait, I'm really singing their praises again. I just want to see better from this morning. Like, they're a team, I rate them so much, and I just feel like we didn't see this morning what they can properly prove, and especially considering that Heroic have got so many issues, hopefully they can now. And as this pistol round gets kicked off, it's going to be a skirmish outside of this A-bomb site.
I absolutely agree with your sentiment about Bait. Also hoping to see a little bit more from them here, and already they've managed to give themselves a little bit of a running head start into this round. 4 versus 3 now. 2 players dangerously low on health, but a decent amount of information garnered early on. They have had to give up a lot of space though, and Heroic, instead of pressing that kind of erroneously and you know, maybe making a few unnecessary mistakes, they're just going to pull back for a moment, reassess. They know that Bait aren't necessarily going to take this space. So now they look to see if they can garner a little bit of information and see where's going to be the best to actually posture. As now Bait start to get a little bit antsy, start to push out a little bit. Those higher HP players looking to find something. A foot gets spotted, a shot connected, and Alex, much like his teammates, slips away with a sliver of HP.
This is so annoying if Heroic lose this, because they need to tickle like 3 players, and well, Tessus, with the bombers back, doing God's work right now. MPL, that's actually a massive frag, because he's going to drop the bomb, and he can just play the time. They're running at him, 20 seconds, just Molotov. Oh, perfectly placed, but what? No, he survives on 4 HP, and even though the Molotov landed on the bomb, Shush will get away with it. However, here comes those players from the B-bomb side, and even though everybody is so low, they win with 3 alive.
That was a little bit egregious, it felt like. I mean, it seemed like there was a world in which Heroic were going to be able to pull that through. Like you said, they just had to tickle 3 players. The first one comes through. Great shot there from Tessus, but instantly caught out by a well-placed flash and a shot straight to the dome. They managed to get themselves up through mid and onto the site, but as they go for the backstab, they're just not getting the results that they want, and Bait have started to rotate in. They shut it down quickly, deny a bomb from being planted entirely, and well, Heroic losing that first round here. Not the position that they wanted to be in, particularly here T-side, wanting to kind of run away from that a little bit with no bomb down, no money available. And already the game is up. It's quite clear that they have postured a little bit over towards this side, at least a few of them. So now all Bait have to do is wait.
Wait and farm up them ecos. I also find it quite amusing that Heroic got invited and then had to play Cloud9 in their first round, because Cloud9 obviously with the rebuild, you know, they've lowered in the HLTV ranking. I just find that quite a, like, you know, Eternal Fire had Bait, and then like Falcons had OG, and then it was Fnatic versus 3D Max, which I think was actually a really well matched game. Very exciting. I think, yeah, 3D Max probably should have come out on top of that, as they did. I don't think there was any surprises this morning, to be honest. Maybe the fact that OG took a map of Falcons. Apart from that, I don't know. Senthil, that's an ace. We love to see it.
I'm gonna be feeling pretty darn good about that one, particularly with all the extra freaking cash that he managed to farm up into that.
Happy
Good
days.
lord. After reinvesting, he's still got $5,300. I mean, that's just absolutely absurd. Looking hot to trot for their 3rd round here. Be feeling happy with that, but of course Heroic are going to be able to buy into this one. They didn't fall into that trap of trying to spend too much in that 2nd round after not planting the bomb, and of course this is a seasoned team, so they won't make those kind of odd decisions. So instead, now they have a good buy to come in. Oh, the aggression from Captain Kutka along with head trick, and instantly shut down with a great spray from Shush. He will get traded, but Kixon's going to follow that up, and now somehow Alex is the last one left alive. A death ball to move in towards that A site, and yes, 2 players are lost from Heroic, and that's going to hurt the economy ever so slightly, but realistically, Alex just going to run away with the AK here.
If he can. Tess says, oh sorry, that's Kixon over in Palace. He's hunting him down, but what great entries from Shush. There was really nice supportive flashbangs, like you saw in that kind of first 2 opening interactions where they were fighting in A main. Bates were caught off guard, they were completely blinded, and the Dane capitalized upon that. Kicks him, comes through as well with a very clean trade, and then Extremities just get hold by Dexter. Heroic, a very fast and furious first round to get themselves on the board in their opponent's map pick.
Oh, Alex will be feeling pretty good about that one. 3 kills on the round. Sure, you would have liked to have actually won that round, but they still have quite a bit of cash still in the bag, thanks to Asenthal having gotten so many kills that previous round with the MP9, which means they're able to buy into an AWP here. So they're still able to pull out a pretty darn robust buy. However, both teams on that little bit of a knife's edge here. Obviously, loss bonuses have completely reset. So for Heroic and for Bait, this is a really big momentum shifting round. I do give a bit of an advantage here to Bait just because they do have that AWP in hand, and if Headtrick can get some nice early frags, could be a huge difference maker, particularly because Heroic are actually angling towards that A site.
Seeing more of a default out from Heroic in this round. No fast, explosive play. I think it's a good test to see what we're going to be seeing from their mid-rounding. And right now, Tesses exploring his options a little bit in connector. Forcing a bit of utility out and putting a bit of pressure on this part of the map. As Bait potentially looking to retake middle a little bit. You see MPL and Headtrick just shifting their way through. The AWP holding deep. MPL's going searching. He could walk straight into the masses. He does get 1 kill, but very swiftly traded out. With 40 seconds left on the clock now. Heroic, they feigned a bit of presence towards B. They've taken contact in middle. They're going to end towards A.
Heroic kind of salvaged that NPL push with the power of friendship. Great little bit of hand-holding there to give them the leverage that they need. Oh, Captain Kurtka, he's pulled off. That's a great shot from Headtrick, though. Can he get a follow-up? A bit of jiggling happening there, but no, not going to be brave enough to actually peek that AWP. Bomb has, of course, realized that, well, with that kill, this should be a fairly free site. Just going to move... Oh,
No
sorry,
time.
Dexter, not Shush. Great swing, but as you mentioned, just cannot get that down in time. Just so late on that rotation, so late to actually pull the trigger.
I mean, that was just that was just a really weird, I don't know, that was a really weird round for Heroic where they wanted to go towards A. You could see that was kind of always the clear picture, and they almost get very lucky with the fact that Captain Kurtka does rotate off, but Headtrick's there with the AWP, and then just, 15 seconds left, you start rotating over. They just play the bomb sites, they play them perfectly. Really messy round, and a really poor early default showing from Heroic, but okay, Tesses.
All right.
Him and Shush are crisp so far.
Yeah, I think they're probably 2 of the players that you always want to be looking out for, right? Like the staple kind of OG players. But you're going to need to get a lot more done here. Pushing Asenthal in a smoke. We know what he can do in a smoke. But unfortunately, this time only good for 1. Doesn't matter, though. Nertz is just going to keep following it up. And Captain Kurtka, who has not really shown up so far just yet for Bait, is unfortunately going to be forced into an... Yeah, bit of a save here. I don't think there's a world in which you actually push this.
And that round basically just is pinned on the fact that Tessa's decided to duel the AWP very early on in connector. And speaking kind of Headtrick, like, he really did not play well this morning. Like, he was very actively someone that I was surprised at how poor he was playing because of how good he has been for Bait ever since he joined. And it felt like against Eternal Fire, he was never able to really add any impact, and Woxic was completely outshining him. And, you know, right there, that's a very worrying example of how he is just being a big reason of why they lost that round.
And it's really sad because he was kind of big in ensuring the round before. Getting that shot over on the, I think it was over towards B, really helped them. Especially with pulling that rotation from Heroic and denying time. And then in the very next round, to be part of the reason that it just doesn't go their way, that kind of inconsistency is just, yeah, at this level of play, just not something you want to be seeing too often. I do like this aggression from Bait though. We'll see if it does pay off, and yes it does. Absolute dividends. Dexter able to trade out one of them, but the shoe is definitely on the wrong foot here, and Heroic have to somehow restabilize.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect situation. They don't have the weaponry, go for something a little bit more bold and aggressive. Shush tries to catch players off as they're heading back towards the B bomb site. Doesn't, but also does see 3 players. If I'm Heroic, I'm really speeding up towards the A bomb site. Like, there's a maximum of 1 player there, and well, in actuality, there are no players there. So Heroic, unfortunately, have missed out their timing, thinking potentially that someone has heard the sound cue of them dropping off from carpets, which unfortunately for them was not the case. And Bait, they start to spread out now with 2 players towards B and 2 players towards A.
Definitely not a favorable situation here for Heroic, and as you say, if they'd sped up, they could have at the very least gotten a bomb plant. Now, however, time dwindling close to that 20-second mark, they have to actually make a decision. They need to make and execute, and Bait know that they can just wait for the moment. 2 on either site, that at the very least evens out those numbers, and a retake is more than possible. Heroic, they're just not going for it.
Yeah.
They're realizing it's just not worth it.
Wait, can Dexter pick up the AWP? I don't know, he literally can't. Because Alex is holding for that where the AWP is now. So Dexter's going to run in, try pick up the AWP, and okay, yep. So he switches out the AWP for the AK in the 2 vs 4 when they were outside of the A bomb site in the anticipation that, they were going to go for a play, right? But unfortunately, he doesn't go back and pick it up. Luckily for him, though, it doesn't get retrieved by Alex, and they can drop another one. But Heroic, some very poor mid-rounds coming out on Anubis currently.
Yeah, stabilization is kind of the name of the game here, and it's just hasn't been where it needs to be. I think once they realized that there was no way they were salvaging that round, going for the save was the right call. But again, it's off the back of a misunderstanding of those timings, as you said, and not being able to at the very least get a plant does put them in a bit of a predicament here. For this to be going so awry on their T side, not ideal. At NPL, he keeps egoing this mid position, and he's always good for at least 1. For Kixon to be pushing that alone with no one to trade that out, whereas NPL, he had backup. Even if he does die there, you know that it's good for a trade. And unfortunately, that puts Heroic in a really tight spot.
Because this is literally just their default. Kicksound was just kind of, he wasn't even taking mid control. He just gets swung. And that's the type of NPL stuff that I was wanting to see against Eternal Fire. I was singing his praises before the game this morning, and man, he did not do very well at all. So I'm glad to see him actually performing. And I don't think they're normally a team that do play so passively, but they're just reading into the Heroic gameplay of they don't need to overstep their welcome. Or overstep rather, and they're just kind of chilling down on these bomb sites, and for now they've got the right reads. They're just giving up mid control, 3 players towards B, and there's 25 seconds and not a huge amount of utility for Heroic.
Well, the Molly's gonna come out just to try and flush out. Oh man, it's just disastrous as they swing through. Bait pulling from every corner, creating those beautiful crossfires that we'd seen from Eternal Fire, but that Bait just were not able to get right. This time, however, making it work quite nicely for themselves. Another round in the back pocket, in Heroic. Finances absolutely hemorrhaged to the point of exsanguination. They're not going to have too much into this round. And this is great from Bait, because with this being their map pick, we kind of joked a little bit about the Mirage thing, but it's good to see that now the map that they had in their back pocket, they brought it out, and they're looking so much better on it.
Obviously they are doing well, but I think a big part of this right now is that Heroic's I don't know, this is very poor mid-rounding of they're not making Bait very uncomfortable. And I think like that was a perfect round of just like you take your first contact in mid, and they literally just played the bomb sites. And sure, they did have the right setup and the right read to have 3 players towards B, but I don't think that's that crazy of a thing considering that A hasn't worked out in the last few rounds. So kind of tried to change it up, and I don't know. This is looking really weird from Heroic right now. Like you've got Dexter on the server, you have kind of you have no excuses, and sure they have had a lot of issues with just maybe not playing together and all that jazz, but going, yeah, like for Heroic, if they lose in the Blast Premier Showdown first round and they go 0-2 here, that's really not good. However, it's very early doors, but Silent Fate have been doing very well. Also, actually, having it super in anti-eco rounds. I jinxed it, of course.
To be fair, I mean, that's still relatively clean.
Oh, it's still fine, yeah.
Yeah. One dying there is not the end of the world. I do like that they live up to their name a little bit there. A head trick goes for a little bit of an early kill, doesn't connect, but hey, it's a bait. NPL swings and gets 3. Love that. Head trick's been a bit quiet. You kind of mentioned it on the first map, or rather the first series. And again, here, even more so. I'd kind of called out Captain Kutka, but he started to kind of step up a little bit at least. That's really not what you want to be seeing from your AWPer, so definitely need to have some signs of life coming through here. 2 rounds on board for Heroic. Need to try and string a little bit more together. Otherwise, their CT side is going to be a little bit of a catastrophe. Yeah.
We're starting to have a few alarm bells ring just because of how T-side of this map actually is. This is a different play from Heroic though. They just go straight towards B. No messing around. This is what happened. This is what worked for their first gun round win, and it's what's going to work again here. 3 versus 4 in favor of Heroic. Head trick. He might get swung. I was going to say by Nerds, but Shush does it for him. And okay, sure. Even though Shush has got like 5 frags, every time he gets a kill, they win a round. So that's the highlight. And Heroic, yep, just doing exactly what worked before, but on the other side of the map.
I was about to say NPL's still alive, it's winnable, but Dexter... Okay, they've completely backed out. I thought they might go into their own spawn, but I guess they had an inclination. So they're just going to back out over towards the A side. That's the right call. And what's really interesting to me is that Heroic is finding the most success on Bait's strong side. When they try to go weak side, everything just goes completely awry. But when they push the strong side, they're somehow able to get so much more done. They're able to leverage the geometry so much better. With the slight caveat being that it's when they go for strong side early on in the round. When they kind of default a little bit and then get kind of caught and have to rotate and whatever, then yeah, the whole mid-rounding thing comes into play and it turns to spaghetti. But when they opt to actually hard focus it, they do quite well. I'd be curious to see if they actually opt to keep pushing it and if Bait decide to kind of reinforce that even more heavily.
I think Heroic have a good read of realizing that Bait tend to start in a 2-1-2, and they don't tend to have 3 players over towards a specific bomb site, and trying to use that. Captain Kirker, aggressive in A main, gets the kill, and just about gets away. 10 HP. That's a big opening frag, and a big name to be taken out server as Nerds. He has been a quiet boy so far, Anubis.
That's an unfortunate way to go as well. Immediately Heroic on the back foot and back into that position of now we need to stabilize and now we need to mid-round a little bit. They start moving over towards A here. Sizable nade. You know, not the biggest, but does a little bit there. Makes things that little bit easier to leverage. Alright, Tessus. Nice little swing there. Gets the kill as well. That's going to open up the site ever so slightly. But NPL, absolute rock star, puts Tessus in the grave. Now what do Heroic do? The plan has completely fallen apart.
I'm still honestly trying to figure out what the plan was. Like, were they always going to go for this like double pump where they were only ever going to send 2 players out? I guess they're going to try lean on the fact that Shush is in middle and try utilize him as a lurk. However, head trick, just holding the angle. There's no utility. But double swing, the AWP silences him, and now NPL worried because of middle. Look, behind him, here comes Shush. Keep in mind, Dex is there to succeed, but as I said, they don't anticipate that late mid lurk. 10 seconds left, Alex in a prime place to clutch, but unfortunately, Shush's wrap through camera is going to be what gives Heroic the 4th.
Honestly, well played. You know, we've kind of been harping on about their mid-rounding and how it's been really lackluster and how they really struggle to restabilize. But a well-placed lurk can really make all the difference in the world. They pulled the rotations over. Just gets a nice little position there. Dexter is able to hold the line as well. So as soon as people start moving in towards that A site, he's there. He's ready to shut it down. They play off of each other perfectly. A good recovery. Heroic gonna need a lot more of that though. They need these last 2 rounds at the very least to make this next half competitive. For Bait, however, with how close these rounds have been, already down onto this incredibly janky, if you could call it a buy, slight spend. So this round should go in Heroic's favor. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I think this will actually be a really nice recovery from Heroic if they do end up getting 6-6. But you were talking about stranger things. Pretty much the one player that could be dangerous in this round actually is for Bait, and he gets the opening kill. Headtrick also is able to drop the MP9 over to NPL, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes and ferries this AK over to Captain Kirker, just because he's the only other player with armor, and obviously Headtrick's on 11 HP, but in the meantime, Dexter solo searching with the AWP will actually clear it out. Oh my god, Captain Kirker almost got 2-1 Deeks, but no, this round should be... This round, I think Bait are just like, where are they trying to go? Because we've taken contact all over the map.
I mean, Heroic definitely leveraging the realization that it's likely going to be an eco of some description, so they know that they can kind of play for picks a little bit, then play off of that. Great swing from Headtrick, just as the smoke blooms to shut down Shush and then be able to slip away like a thief in the night. Nerds spots him out, pulls out the bomb again, it goes for the plant. Oh, Headtrick, I saw the vision, but unfortunately not too much to be done there. NPL with that MP9 good for the first, but will get traded out. Heroics showing some signs of life here at last. Glad to see that they've woken up and joined us in the server. Bait, on the other hand, not going to be too happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, that round was kind of one of those things where it's like, it went a lot better than you would have ever anticipated, and because it was so close, you start to be like, we could have got that going, right? Like, we could have won that round, but Heroic, I feel like this half could have really run away from them. Like, they could have been in a lot of trouble, but they've actually made it very, like, kind of admirable. You know, they're stringing a good couple rounds in a row, but still, 6 as a maximum on your T side is far from ideal. Bait, interestingly enough, start 3 players towards B in this round instead of their 2-1-2 they've been normally going for, and because of that, Headtrick alongside his Thenthiel will be pushing aggressively through B main, but Dexter, he identifies this, and this might cause them to speed up towards the A bomb site.
Some solid mid control here from Heroic as well. Doesn't happen often that there's very little kind of holding the line there. But instead of pressing it, they're just kind of fall back a little bit. Wait out time. See if we can get an opener or 2 over on the A site. The A site is what's being funneled into now by Bait. But Bomb's kind of headed up towards mid. I see the vision. I just I see it, but I'm not convinced.
This is a fine round, but the issue is just Headtrick's rotated in. Like, you see, you've got Senthiel's now getting quite aggressive. Ruby and Bait realize they have to take towards A main. Nertz and Tessus, they won't fool, and Headtrick forced off his angle. Over in heaven, Heroic, they get the bomb down. They get the bomb site in a 4 versus 3. A Senthiel, he's rotating in from A main. This would be a massive frag for him to pick up. In the meantime, Shush almost gets double spray down. And with that in mind, Heroic string quite a few rounds in a row, 4 to be exact. Let's see if they can continue this after the break.
A half that started off looking a little bit one-sided and a little bit dire ends up at an even kilter. 6-6 here as Heroic have a huge resurgence in the last 4 rounds of our previous half. Is it going to be enough though? By all accounts, a bit of a lackluster T side, even though they did start to bring it together. Now they move over onto CT, but for Bait, of course, an opportunity at redemption.
A very fast pistol round. Dropping down from middle into canals, and oh my god, Alex. What a double entry. That's round over. They're going to be playing a 5 versus 3 post plan, and they've barely even taken any damage. Nerds and Testers have no idea what just hit them.
I love a nice, fast, aggressive pistol round. I think that it's probably one of the best options you have because as a T, you know that the CTs have to be somewhat split up. So you just absolutely bomb rush one of the sites as a 5 stack and more than likely you come out on top of it. And that's exactly what we've seen here. However, a little bit of return fire here. There's no kit in hand, so chances of a defusal are slim to none. But they've taken out so many of these Bait players. It's not enough to secure them the round, but, you know, a little bit of extra cash in the back pocket. Not much, but hell, you'll take it, I guess.
Why did that somewhat become, like, winnable? And how, like, Kixan doubles his frags? But, okay, as much as that was a really cool attempt, and, you know, we can sit here and be like, oh, that was, you know, maybe a little bit awkward at the end. But in the end, it doesn't matter. They won the round. They were the one who got the double entries. And overall, it's going to now be a force buy for Heroic, where on the CT side, a second round force buy is, I think, scrutinized by a lot of people. But a lot of teams tend to do it. And I think a big part of it is just they can get utility and kind of like everything they would have wanted in the first gun round, which will come like round 16 if they lose this, for instance. But off to a different start. Dexter and MPL clash heads in middle, and it will be the scout taking the tag onto MPL.
Very slow start here, a little bit of push and pull. Nothing committed just yet. Trying to see if they can actually pull something over as Bait start to make their way in towards this B site. You know, they do have somewhat of an advantage, or should be aware of it. Nice Molotov to flush out there. Oh, that could have been dangerous, but he's keeping an eye on it. Rotating back over. I'm a little bit worried here. If they take too much longer, they could shoot themselves in the foot time-wise, but they're posturing, and it looks like this exec towards this A site may happen. Are they aware, though, that 2 of these players have pushed so far forward? Flash comes out, doesn't connect. MP9 good for 1, and instantly traded out, but there you go. It'll get another 2. It's still 2 versus 3 here. Heroic have a shot, but Bait have made this very difficult.
Yeah, big round from Shush and specifically Kixon. Now, bomb will be planted. Are they anticipating a fast rotation from Nerds? No. NPL with 20 HP left into a 1 versus 3, and they all dive bomb him. A massive retaliation from Heroics be taking home that second round.
I thought Bait had that, I'll be honest. As messy as the start of that was, and as, you know, even though they hemorrhaged so many players early on, they had so many advantages, but Heroic play that very well to secure themselves around here. Back and forth a little bit, and they have done some serious damage to Bait's economy. This should have been Bait's bonus. Winning that second round is so big, particularly when you're a CT. Now they have some really good weaponry to take into this. Bait, very little to work with. 1 Galil for that extra little bit of punch. However, 2 Tech 9s and 2 Mac 10s could make for a very explosive and very dangerous entry.
And look, they got a lot of utility as well, so that's going to be aiding them nicely. Captain Kirk does get a little bit over-ego one of those flashbangs. But okay, utility has to be good. They're just right in the flashbang. They're just popping straight through. But neither Tesses, nor Nerds, nor Dexter, none of them are blind, and it's going to be flawless.
Oof. I mean, you saw so much of that util coming out, just pop after pop after pop, and it feels almost like they were trying to bait a swing so that they could throw a second flash after the swing and then have the advantage. But you would have that util come out and nothing happened. And then a second wave of util and nothing happened. And then a third wave of util, and even then they were a little bit slow to actually hit that accelerator. And as soon as they popped out, they all just got sprayed through from like 4 different directions. Now well and truly back down onto the pistols without so much as a single kill to start doing some damage to Heroic. Looks like we could be nearing that double-digit scoreline. And Bait haven't managed to find an answer just yet. Perhaps in the next, but in this round, should be fairly clear-cut.
Dexter getting that nice AWP money. Yeah, this should be pretty clean for Heroic. That money's actually looking like surprisingly really good because of flawless and like having 3 players alive as well. When they won on the kind of like force fight, and looking to do it flawless again, so that's massive for their econ. And Kirk, yep, obviously won't get anything done at range with the Glock. I wonder if Dexter buys a AWP. I wonder if he chooses to drop away the MP9. He's gonna have about 50 seconds to think that over as well, as Bait are taking their first tactical timeout of this map. I think this will probably be the best time for them to take a tactical pause. I think having them like talk before this gun round, where they've they've started this half off well, they go straight back onto the back foot. I think this is a really good time for them just to talk things over, especially because they were up 6-2 and now they're down 7-9.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal recovery. Things we do love to see. Looks like Dexter not going for that AWP, in fact, but rather just going to be spreading the funds around a little bit. And there you go. AK in hand, though. See what he can get done with that, saved over from previous rounds. Bait have opted, of course, to force into this quite drastically. They will have a very strong loss bonus, so they should be able to recover into the next round. You want to give yourself as many chances as humanly possible.
So this is their gun round. They were full eco last round, so it was 2,400 loss I think they had. So they had like 4-ish K across the board. Yeah.
And they should get, I believe, what's it, 39? Yeah, oh sorry, 2.9, yeah. Okay, not the best.
Well, if they lose this, they can't buy next round. And then they'd have to be playing for a win in regulation with Heroic on 11. So this is kind of like their big gun round where, like, if they want to keep it as close as it has been throughout the whole series, this is their time. And so far with their default, they've taken a bit of contact towards A. However, Heroic have they've got everything. They have full space towards A main. They have got Nert pushing into T spawn. Oh, Captain Kirk is holding for him. That's a massive frag. And now, because of it, I think Bait are going to try speed up towards the B-bomb site where currently Tessus is all by himself and he's on 12 HP now.
But at least he has evened things out a little bit and slowed down that push ever so slightly. Bait were not expecting to lose a player so early on, so this gives a bit of time for rotations to come through. That will at least give them an opportunity to reinforce a little bit. Yeah, they've really slowed down. They've checked Tessus in the corner. Dexter instantly trades it out, but cannot get away. It's so messy as lives are traded across the board. But now, shush, last player left alive has to be, well, Heroic. And unfortunately, the Heroic players do not come through. A great little sidestep there from Bait after that opening kill onto Nerds, who, let's face it, it would have been great if it worked out, but it didn't.
Well, okay, yeah, sure, it didn't work, but like, I think it had, like, if I'm Nerds, I think they're outside A main, because you have got your A players communicating that they're currently smoked in A main, and they've shown contact, and then you've got Nerds who's gone all the way through B, pretty much. I think Heroic, and that's why there was only one other player on the bomb site. Like, they just kind of assumed it was going to be a play towards A, and they were waiting for utility A main to fade. So a really nice round from Bait. They are very acute with making sure that they understand that, look, someone could be pushing B main. And right now, they've got an opening kill towards A, and they're looking to wrap through there. Dexter's rotation. What? How does MPL still get that first frag? Dexter needs to double down, but misses. And now this whole round is on Kixan.
And Nertz is nowhere to be seen. Unfortunately, things just kind of fell apart at the seams so very quickly. It wasn't too much that he was going to be able to do there, particularly with how aggressive that was. It was kind of like a domino effect, kind of like I like to talk about lions in a savannah, right? When you just kind of encircle and pounce in, and the fact that you're able to get so many frags in so many different places, shut down that defensive lineup very quickly. And I mean, realistically, there's literally nothing Nertz can do here in this position, so he's just going to have to hold on to that weapon and wait for another round. And it really does feel like both of these teams, when the chips have been at their lowest, they've found a way to come back. Heroic did it in the first half. They were 6-2 down. They had a beautiful kind of 4-round resurgence. Now Bait, you know, they win that pistol, or they lose the pistol round. They get that eco to come through. Sorry, other way around. Lose the pistol. They get ecoed, but they're still able to claw their way back into it, keeping things pretty close, pretty competitive. I wasn't really expecting it to be this close, but I'm glad to see that Bates have not kind of given up the ghost just yet. 9-9 here. Pretty even buys across the board. And of course, this is a bit of a momentum shifting round, it feels like.
Oh, so the last round Heroic have in the bank. And Bates, they got a great opener in the previous. Great from Centhiel. And they basically were just able to capitalize upon that. And with missed shots from Dexter, even though they had the good rotations in the crunch time, 4 players were in and around the A-bomb site, and they only got like 2 kills, I think, if that. So for Bait, they're sitting comfortable, and they'll be looking to try get some mid control once again, as MPL, who's cruising for a bruising, by the way, 20-10. He is having an absolute starter performance. He kind of feigns mid presence, and he's going to go back with Captain Kirker, and I can see them trying to wrap around the B-bomb site here.
Not too much to read in just yet. This has been somewhat standard. Some of that util, we've seen it from Bait before. And Heroic as well, realizing it's... Yeah. And Heroic realizing it's a little bit too soon to kind of pull the trigger on any sort of a rotation. But here you go, first player to come through. There you go, Note spots out too. This should be the time. Is it though? Bomb gonna get planted. Heroic might just decide, you know what, perfect. We're just gonna stay here.
Yeah, like that's such a good round from Bait. Like they almost fake out the presence in connector at the very beginning with like forcing out the utility, but also showing presence. And previously, when they have done that in connector, it's normally actually meant that Bait are going towards A. They've done it like I think 2 times where they've kind of showed some presence in connector and they've just gone towards A. And alongside that as well, Heroic were never able to retake mid control after they kind of had NPL feign that he was going towards mid. And even though I wasn't maybe the biggest fan of them going through that smoke with the grenade that Nertz just thrown in con, it actually works out perfectly. And a very disjointed double setup towards B doesn't warrant any success. Bait find double digits, but because 3 players have saved for Heroic, Nertz and Tessa should be able to be dropped, and they will have another gun round. However, that basically means it's do or die here in round 20.
And of course, that's the perfect time to take a timeout. Heroic, of course, realizing that things are starting to slip through their fingers a little bit. And after such a solid resurgence in the first half and keeping up a lot of that momentum into the second, to let it all slip away here, I suppose for either team, you know, that'd be quite heartbreaking. But, you know, we did mention it before, bit of a T-sided map, and Bait leaning quite heavily into that, letting that work in their favor. We'll see what Heroic can do here. Money is not in the greatest spot, unfortunately. Saving 3 weapons from the previous round at least gives them a hope, a snowball's hope. What's that?
They're not buying.
Heroic?
Like, they're just 5-7s on Nerds and Tessus.
Yeah,
I
mean...
really would have thought they would have dropped over a little bit more and gone for this round. Considering they have the orb, they have 2900 loss bonus. I guess Tessus can drop the orb next round, worst comes to worst, but Kixan and Dexter, yeah, they don't need a buy. Who cares? That's a really nice med setup where you've got Kixan tucked quite far in the corner. They don't clear him, and it's a perfect bait and switch, and then because they've seen two players in middle, they imagine they can try and react from A because it might be vacant. However, they were completely wrong, and Heroic have just won out this round within the first 10 seconds.
I love that. And I must admit, like, I thought that not buying was the play, just because, you know, money was not looking great. So into the next round, even with that full loss bonus, you want to try to be a bit more robust where you can. But obviously, a lot of that hinges on the fact that, or hinges on getting those early kills. And the fact that we do see those come through from Shush, Kixan, and Dexter from various positions, as you say, kind of secures them the round. And it does make that little bit of a gamble of not spending any money that little bit more worth. Now, unfortunately, this B site has been overrun. So at the very least, Bomb is going to get planted. Not the way Heroic expected this round to kind of finish itself out. They also do not have a kit. I didn't see if one of the guys on site had a kit, if there's one that's recoverable, but as it stands, time is of the essence.
Ooh, but Alex now in a 1v3 knows where they all are and can only adjust to the first. There was legs to that round. There certainly were. Even though it was a 2 versus 5, it comes down to, I guess, a 2 versus 3, but I think Captain Kirker tries to walk through that smoke a little bit too late as it fades. And Heroic, they have made this a very contestable game. 10-10. We are neck and neck going into the final few rounds. Bait, they're going to have a repurchase. No AWP out for Head Trick. And once again, he can buy it, but once again, he's really been struggling. He's really been like on the bottom end of not only this game, but also the one against Eternal Fire. And comparatively, sure, Dexter's not having like okay, he's got 16 to 8, but he hasn't been like crushing with a lot of these like massive rounds where he gets a moddy frag, but he's doing a lot better than Head Trick.
I think there comes a point where you have to kind of weigh up the cost of the AWP and the fact that your AWPer is not performing to the expected standard. And you kind of have to go, well, it's such a huge investment. Just buy a rifle, man. Just, you know, make sure you've got that little bit of extra cash to keep you going. And this isn't meant as a dig. It's meant as a team. You need to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your team on the day. You need to know when someone isn't having the best day, and you need to make adjustments for that. It's just a simple fact of playing in a team environment. So I think it is the right call to make. But we'll see if it stacks up now, because as we saw, Dexter is going to have an AWP of his own. He's in a really good position for it. However, he's going to get smoked off here. See if somebody opts to try and push into it, and no, he's not going to get himself an early cheeky frag there. So for now, it's just that same little bit of defaulting, more towards the extremities though. Mid left pretty uncontested.
Scared from last round. They haven't been actually playing too heavy mid on the defaults, and that last round with the default mid was also what happened. And well, we've actually seen this type of round once again be played out, where it's 3 coming from connector, 2 coming out from B main. We're going to be coming head to head here as Nerds. He's trying to push forward, but he's losing his teammates as they're coming in from connector, and oh, it's going all awry for Heroic. Kixan trying his best to stay alive. The rotations are not even moving. They're not even budging. Dexter is still just on the A bomb site with the AWP. He never made an attempt because they had no mid control. And Bait, it feels like they've been gifted that round, all because they catch the players trying to get aggressive through B main.
It's these little things. And I think part of that issue is information starve, I feel like, is such an important part of the game. And the fact that Heroic don't have all of the information that they would want, they kind of get a little bit antsy. They want to push out. They want to find that information. And Bait play that really well. They allow it. It's Bait. and they allow Heroic to kind of push out a bit. They hold their line, hold their angles, shut it down, move in onto the site, and the last 2 players from Heroic, I mean, there's no way that they actually attempt to push this. Oh, tries to get the exit there, but just unable to connect, unfortunately. And yeah, and I think that aggressive plays are also something that Heroic have kind of struggled with a little bit, just when they don't have that information. If they have either made a good read early on and have reinforced a particular site, or they've had the time to rotate in, they can shut down that aggression really easily. But when they're caught unawares, it's so easy for site to be overrun, and they don't even attempt to re-engage or to rotate in. They rather just hold on to their weaponry, because we're at that stage in the game now where you can't afford to be reckless with your economy. So again, it's another round where you have to just kind of hold on to those weapons and look towards the next.
Ooh, this is looking like a bit of a faster play potentially. Bates, there's not a huge amount of default this round. They're just going straight towards A, taking some presence in middle and also connector. You can see that the nuts is currently smoked off. And yeah, they're just going to contact. I think they're just going to straight contact in towards Zay's side. Unfortunately, though, there are 3 players. Now, here comes the full execute. On the bomb side, Shush is burning alive. Kicks out because the utility is isolated. And these duels are all going in favor of Bates. Shush tries his best, but he was left all by himself. And perfect utility placement. Bates, that's 12. That's map point as Heroic are forced to save, because they've only got 2,400 loss bonus, and they're going to be scraping together a buy now with Dexter and Nerds, hopefully maintaining their rifles.
It's another round where you see that aggression again from Bait, instantly overrunning that A site, and the last 2 from Heroic. There isn't even a point in attempting to rotate in and reinforce. Your entire team is dead. You just have to back out and hold on. It is very unfortunate that this is how these last few rounds have gone for Heroic. But Bait have really, you know, stepped up a little bit. And I think it's also worth saying, we've mentioned this a couple of times, but there are a few players on Bait that have really, really stood out, right? Captain Kutka kind of mentioned at a point that he had a little bit of a slow start, but we're seeing a huge resurgence from him. NPL's had a quiet couple of rounds, but he's been so solid throughout this map that it kind of helped to propel them to this point, right? So despite the fact that Headtrick isn't really performing as well as he should or could be, the rest of the team are still able to kind of step up a little bit and fill in those gaps. Heroic not able to deal with that, unfortunately. And again, I think it's that aggression that's catching them out so consistently. So now, one more timeout. Realistically, it'll be the last one we see, unless somehow we get into that overtime. And hopefully they have some sort of an adaptation to play into this. I'm not too sure what they can realistically do here to bite back. They've tried a bit more aggressive. They've tried to be a bit more passive. They've taken good map control. It just feels like Bait have had answers a little bit too consistently.
I think an issue Heroic have had has been lack of control in middle. A lot of the times, mid has been their weak point, not necessarily because Bait are there, but because they have stinted rotations on the basis they don't know if Bait are there. I wouldn't mind B main aggression. Like, it has worked, and I think, like you know, it hasn't actually worked with them getting frags, but the space being taken always has, and I think they shouldn't be afraid to do that again, just because in previous times they've been caught off guard on unfortunate timings. But yeah, I think mid's definitely a good point to start with, like, actually just keeping that control. But instead, okay, yeah, extremity aggression, but towards the A bomb site. Essential needs to be a bit careful because he's currently trapped in. There is some support by Alex, and well, that support's going to be perfect. Great flashbang, but Heroic actually come out of those duels with the advantage.
And getting 2 there is massive. Obviously, the one towards A and then another one in towards mid, and that, of course, is going to signal to the bomb plant or the bomb holder. Maybe not A. They are moving over towards B, and of course it's too strong here at B. For Bait to just get 1 kill, that would be the opening that they need. Heroic not ready to rotate just yet. As we mentioned, they have been a little bit slow to make those rotations. Tessus, though, great swing from him to connect on. It's going to give Headtrick something to aim at. The Molotov to come through to flush out. On the way out, cannot connect the shot, but Alex is there to make sure that it does happen. They do have an opening, a possibility here. A good little bit of util just to deny some sightlines, deny some opportunities. Notes going to try to make something happen, but Headtrick is there to shut it down. Dexter trades it out, however, and Alex has to hold the line 1v1.1. As Dexter is so low on the HP there. Takes out the AWPer. Now it is a true 1v1, but it's Kixon with a nice little swing out of the smoke to blow his brains out, get onto that bomb, get the defuse, and give themselves a stay of execution.
Oh, I thought Alex actually played that so well as well. Like, he did so nicely to isolate those duels, and he just can't connect the shots. But I was going to say, Headtrick, he comes alive at the most important time, but no, I think he legged Dexter, or like wall-banged him, because Dexter was really low, even though that like Headtrick had an AWP. And honestly, I think my one issue in that round was, why is the rifle taking the first contact on, I guess, the like contact towards the B bomb site instead of Headtrick? Like, why has Headtrick got an AWP and is looking to trade out his teammate? I feel like that would have been a lot more valuable if you send in the AWP and have him go searching instead of the rifle. But Heroic, they're poising for an overtime. They take their third and final tactical pause. We do get another one. 2 in 2 rounds. They've all been coming out towards the end here. You know, it really is crunch time. But Bait, one more opportunity to send us to Dust2 with them in the driving seat, or a Heroic gonna try flip the script and send us to a fresh new stage in overtime here on Anubis in map 1 in the lower bracket of IEM Rio 2024 European Close Qualifiers.
I am absolutely here for the overtime, but we'll see if Bait are here for it. I don't think they're too keen on that. Instantly taking some very, very strong presence in towards mid, going for that mid to A split. Heroic, they have kind of reacted to it, but the reactions are a bit slow. Dexter's overrun. They haven't cleared Kixon. He's good for 2 on the site, but he's going to get traded by Alex. Shush, however, a great swing from him, and he gets 2 more. 12-12, ladies and gentlemen, and we are indeed going to overtime.
I have no idea how that has actually worked out as well as it did. Like, Dexter misses the first shot, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Kicksands by himself. There was players coming from A main, and I think they kind of tunnel visioned on the fact that Heroic have played 3A quite a lot and 2 towards A main, and you just have this issue if they don't clear Kicksan effectively, and then because of all that pandemonium, it's allowed for the rotation to come through successfully. 12-12, we once more entered the fray.
Okay, but let's be real. Shush getting 3 there is a little outrageous.
Sure. Yeah.
It's great play from him, but you know, when your lives are on the line, that's when the clutch gene kicks in. We love to see that. First round of OT here. A little bit of a clean slate to an extent. It's a great shot from Dexter to open it up. And taking NPL off the board. Normally I'd say that's phenomenal. But again, NPL has been really quiet for the last few rounds here.
Yeah, I think you highlighted it at one stage. And I don't think he's got a kill in a good couple rounds. Headtrick, you know, just once again, what's crazy is that he's been so good for Bait. Like, I don't think he's had a bad tournament ever when he's been playing for them, and I rarely see him have bad maps, let alone like a bad day. So whatever's going on, it's cost him Bait, because if he was performing, I don't think we would have been in overtime right now, and we would have seen a little bit more contention this morning against Eternal Fire. But for now, even though they're man disadvantaged, they're actually in a pretty good place, because Tessus is alone on this B bomb site. He spots them out as they're coming through, almost lands a spray transfer, but does enough for his IGL to rotate him. Alex, he's failed a clutch on this very bomb site before, and with 15 seconds, I don't think he's even getting the bomb down. Fast rotation from Shush, and, well, he'll be distracting for the Israeli to come through, not even with his weapon of choice, but to put Heroic in the lead.
It's been a minute since they were in the lead, hasn't it? I think not since the third round of the second half. Yeah. It's been a hot minute. But they've done it here. Going to be feeling quite confident. And of course, the kind of crucial point of that is that they've managed to kind of get that OT round here on their CT side. So they're going to be feeling very comfortable with that one. Let's see just how much more they can get done. I have enjoyed how even this has been across the board. But it all comes down to this OT. Nice little bit of util here to do a bit of chip damage. We've seen some of this util before. And again, it's just not going to get results. Tesses holds the line beautifully with a nice little cross angle. The last two players here from Bait stuck in this archway. Finally, the raid boss that is Tesses will get shut down, but it's not going to be enough. Heroic with yet another round in their OT.
I just don't understand where the util was there. Like, you're throwing entry flashbangs that don't hit anybody. Where's the Molotov towards pillar? Where's the, like, I don't know, like, you're throwing a left side smoke and you've been countered by people playing plateau time and time again. Like, I'm pretty sure Tesses has played plat, like, every round. You have no utility there. The flashbangs don't connect there. You have no molo on pillar. Like, I don't know. That felt like a really awkward execute where Bait should kind of be knowing a little bit better. And losing 2 rounds in a row on their T side. It's not looking great for this overtime. Aggression towards A, however, this time will be giving Bait the opening kill. Last time this happened, Heroic, they came away with a man advantage.
And Bait play that very, very well. They know that Heroic like to get a little bit aggressive on the extremities from time to time. They allow that to happen. They actually use one of their own players as bait. And Headtrick will get that shot before there's even an opportunity for their teammate to get taken out. And of course, Bait make the right call here. They kind of slow it down a little bit. They might even make a little bit of noise on the other side just to really drive home a bit of confusion here. Oh no, aggression into mid this time. NPL caught with his back turned and Nerds will take him out. Now we're on an even kilter. Now Dexter, who's fallen off of the more aggressive angle, will be able to get one in on the entry. 4 versus 3 here. And they can't deny. Oh, they have. They've stopped the bomb from being planted entirely. The rotation is coming in from all sides. The flank is beautiful. Headtrick, last one left alive. Heroic with an absolute stellar start to this OT. Things were looking so rough and uncomfortable, but they've brought it back. And apologies, I think we've just got a little bit of a thing happening. The game is not over, folks. We're going to jump back in any moment, but I'm blown away.
Yeah, I mean, like, you had a man's advantage, and especially when you're in that 4 versus 5, you know, you're kind of forced to make a reaction, move towards, and, like, take some space to do it perfectly towards middle. That also then allows for rotations. It allows for Dexter to be very secure where he's holding, allows for the rotations, and then also Dexter just hitting the shots that are needed, and then those 2 players who were pushing in middle to wrap very swiftly around through a main. Bates, they lose all 3 rounds on their T side. I don't see them coming back on this. I don't see them winning. However, NPL for the first time in like 8 rounds finally gets a kill after being 20-9 or 20-10.
You know what? CT-sided player.
Yeah, facts.
It do be like that sometimes, but giving themselves that advantage here, you're gonna be pretty happy with that one. Heroic did struggle a little bit on that T side, as you mentioned, so see if they can kind of pull their socks up a little bit here. 1 round is all it takes. Just 1 round to close this out. And Bait, of course, you can see they're on high alert.
Not really wanting to go through the... Wait, what?
What?
I think Dexter might... Did he just shoot? I think he just shot through the smoke. That's just an opening kill.
Yeah.
Tesset's blind. And Nuts creeping his way through canals.
Oh.
Executes 2. Head trick. We've been calling upon him this whole game. If there's ever a time to come alive, this would be it. But no, decapitated with one bullet. Nerds get to 3K in the final round, and Heroic complete the double comeback into overtime to then go flawless, and Anubis Bates map pick goes against them.
I think Heroic had
he's hit 11. Like, congratulations. An AWP on Dust2 with 11 frags. Like, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it has been rough by all accounts, but you know, we kind of mentioned a few of the other players had really stepped up to kind of pick up that slack a little bit. The problem comes in where if your player is not doing well and the rest of the team is not able to pick up that slack, well then it's a disaster. So here we are, folks. We're on map number 2. It is Dust2, as we said before. Bait going to be starting off here on the CT side and looking for a little bit of redemption. They've yet to pick up the map all day. So hopefully they can pick this one up and take us to that third.
Would be a pretty rough day for them if they, 0-2-0-2. NPL's definitely one of the players that we got to mention of picking up some of that slack, but he struggled massively on the T side of Anubis, and also against Tunnel Fire, Bait's T side was nowhere to be really marveled at comparative to how they were performing on the C side. Not sure if there's a correlation there, but NPL is going to be taking actually the first contact in this pistol round, drops the bomb, spots out one more, and a flashbang. Unfortunately, I was going to say they weren't there, but he still picks up one more. Advantage maintained by Bait until they try and force the issue a little bit. And it's back down to a 3 versus 3. In the meantime as well, Shush has also pushed up long and onto the A-bomb site.
Yeah, but I mean, the bomb is still in the middle of no man's land. So, yes, Shush has got a little bit of a lurk on him here, and he can potentially catch them off guard, but it's going to become fairly obvious that he's not coming from mid. So we're going to be watching these two potential angles here. And he needs to swing out. Spots out the first and instantly shut down. A great round from Bait, but unfortunately for Heroic, just not able to find that stabilization.
I mean, yeah, great round from MPL, great round from Captain Kirker, and those were the two players as well on Anubis that kind of stepped up for Bait. I think that was a really well-played pistol round where when we were in that kind of 3 versus 3, they pushed through the smoke, maybe realizing that not everybody will be there for Heroic, and that was exactly the case. Kind of catches the T side off guard a little bit, and unfortunately Shush couldn't really do anything with this nice lurk. He was kind of installing into the round, but for now, even though we don't get the bomb down, we still will actually, interesting enough, have a force buyout from the T side, and Dexter's Scout actually could get an opening kill here if Alex rejiggles mid with this MP9.
Seems he's not willing to take the bait. Oh, the puns. I don't even mean to do it, man. It's just low-hanging fruit at this point. We are looking for a little bit of aggression into mid here.
They have got a nice bait and switch set up.
Oh, it's too easy. It's actually unfortunate how easy it is. And there's the pop. Okay, pop and lock as Nerds gets two.
Okay.
The second one blinded with Tessus's help, but now Ascentha, there you go, up from the high ground position there, is able to get one, pulls back, allows for NPL to cover a little bit of a cross here, but now he's going to be over. Nope, no, he's not. Nope, he's going to get a headshot, but it's not going to be enough. Somehow, Heroic continue to keep this close. And yes, they bring it to a 2 versus 1. Now NPL has to be the hero, gets the first, but the swing from Tessus is perfect, and it's another eco round in the same series.
1 HP! He survives on 1 HP! He gets spammed through the box and somehow survives. I have no idea how Essential also survived for so long on that B bomb site while also on very low HP, and I think he did really well actually at anchoring down that part of the map, but it was all in vain. And even though MPL also gets 2 rotating over, Dexter is able to get all the frags in the middle and drop with his teammates, and well, Tessus, he's counting his lucky stars right now because someone is certainly watching over him.
Oh, the guardian angels of Heroic, just allowing them to stay in this that little bit longer. And of course, it's a bit of an economic reset for Bait. Very unfortunate on their CT side. Still forcing into the scout though. We've kind of, I mean, I don't want to be that person, but Maybe this is the map where Hedrick starts to find that value. Heroic's still going for this mid push towards A. Haven't quite found success on it just yet, but we are only on the 3rd round. This could be the moment. Nice little bit of smoke here to allow them to walk up, but Hedrick is watching. He's waiting for someone to swing out of that smoke. He's forced off of the angle. He's not able to connect the shot, and he's instantly shut down by Dexter. Now Captain Goodko is holding the close angle, able to get 2. That's unreal. He follows it up with a 3rd. What is happening? Guys, rifles are supposed to beat pistols. 2 versus 1 now. Tessus, again, has to be an absolute rock star here for this roster. Bait have managed to pick up some better weapons. How much can Tessus get done?
30 seconds as well. Like, look, time is somewhat of an issue, and contact being taken now. Alex hasn't felled Tessus. He's actually on the receiving end of a lot of that damage. And yeah, 15 seconds. There's no time left unless they give it to him on a silver platter. Oh, Alex with the fadeaway. The 5-7s get every single kill in the round. And Captain Kirka, how in tarnation have you got 3 and then a dink with 1 magazine?
It's actually egregious. Like, the fact that Heroic allowed that to happen. Where is the buddy system? Where is the...
They were there. They were all there for the trades. That's what makes it so, like, what? Like, those kills came in the space of, like, 4 seconds. They were all there.
They were shooting around him. Oh, man. That's... I don't know, man. That's a mental breaker if ever I've seen one. Neither one of these two teams terribly comfortable in the econ department, but with these MP9s and a bit of aggression, they can farm up some decent cash here. And Heroic, definitely the worst off, but there you go. The Deagles working out just as well as the 5-7s there. Maybe not quite just as well, but so much value out of it. Unfortunately, doesn't look like there's going to be too much more to come through from this, as Captain Kutka is so aggressive. Kixon will trade him though, and once again we're in a 2 versus 2. These rounds are so unbelievably scrappy. Kind of tough to call who's going to come out on top of this one.
How has Kixon got another kill on like 1 HP? How is he still alive? And Essential's also super low, so he's not that confident in making a move first in B tunnels, and like he also knows that they know he's there. So what he's going to do is going to wait for MPL. The captain is going to come join up with his teammate. He has the kit, but time is ticking down, and Tessus exposed. Gives opportunity, only gets 1 though. And look at Kixan's HP. NPL just needs to clear him. He's got the right idea, but he's not going to effectively clear the corner. Gets the frag. Is there enough time? I think just about. NPL ends the Force by Wars, and the captain puts them on 3.
Dear Lord, that was far closer than it ever should have been. Now, Heroic obviously came into that slightly worse off in the econ, so being able to take out 4 of the players plus getting bomb planted, not the worst situation to be in.
They're going again. I respect it. I actually rate it.
Yeah, we go again. You have to, right? Like, you cannot allow the snowball to get too far out of hand, and they've managed to string together something serviceable. So make it work, make it happen if you can, but of course the consequences will be dire if they can't make it happen.
Ooh, this is an interesting read. The fact that Heroic realized that there's been more of a heavy presence towards long in this round. They instantly have Kixan out in middle alongside Nerds. I wonder if I'm surprised they haven't moved more as a team over towards this part of the map, and like, you know, they're still keeping Shush outside along, but I think it's very clear that they do want to end towards this B bomb site, maybe trying to wrap around, but they've got no utility for it. They've got 1 flashbang in middle on Nerds, so they can't smoke the cross. They can't throw a flashbang over on the B bomb site, and that's probably the reason why they're actually redirecting themselves and realizing that we can't split up. We might actually just have to play this as a death ball, as a pact, and I think that's going to be the only way they can succeed. Look at Hedrick's AWP though. He's holding the whole of CT, so if they try and go, they have to go tunnels. I think that's actually the only place they might succeed.
And it looks like they're going to start heading back over towards B here after all. The flash going with them.
God.
Oh, man, that was so nearly a kill, but unfortunately, Shush just cannot confirm. Now that one flash has to pay off. It has to work beautifully. A little bit early on the swing there, but Asenthal manages to dodge either way. One kill to come through, but we will trade a little bit back and forth here. Dexter, last one left alive. He's good for one. 1 versus 2.
No time.
This is doable. But, yeah, there it is. No time left. And the best that he can hope for is to hold on to this gun. And, oh, there we go. He actually manages to swap that out for the M4. Unfortunate. The idea was there, but they got stalled out so heavily by the need to get that util.
I mean, annoyingly as well, actually, that flashbang was good. And if he wasn't crouched on like kind of the behind the big box, behind the barrel, because the barrel blocks it by just like the tip of the barrel blocks this flashbang, and if he wasn't in that exact position, he would have been blinded, and it probably would have I mean, might have actually just been around for Heroic. Issue is, yeah, like the utilities just had none of it. They were trying to wait and see if baits were going to give them anything. They were waiting to see if someone would push middle, or someone would maybe push B tunnels, or just even push long as well, because that's where Shush was with the Mac 10. But bait don't offer up anything, and that's very similar to what bait were doing on the city side of Anubis. They just kind of weren't giving Heroic anything to work with, and now you have a big issue with the fact that Dexter sure has saved the A1S, but his money is very disjointed from the rest of his teammates. So if we go into round 7 where Heroic have 2,900 loss bonus, like Dexter's going to be on a Galil or a Mac 10, and so like you're even now looking at the repercussions of that last round for the future.
There's a great spread here from bait. I like the aggressive push down long. They know that Heroic kind of favor this mid push though, and this does set them up for a potential flank, or of course to just regroup back towards that A site and shut down this kind of push across the bridge here. MPL seems to at least have an inkling. Again, they know that Heroic have done this a few times, so just gonna hold the line here. Pop flash over the top. Not quite getting the value. NPL to get the first. Gonna try to follow it up. He will get traded, but Hedrick will pick up one. Give away his position. Yeah, he's gonna move back a little bit. Alex is there to make sure that no harm can come to his AWPer. The last one left alive here. Shush to get a little bit done, but not much more. Some economic damage. Bomb planted. About as good as they could have hoped for.
Well, the bomb actually going down starts to change that narrative I was building up of. The actual $600 means that you don't necessarily have the repercussions of saving that weapon into this round. Like, you have Dexter in a fine situation when it comes to the economy now. And for Heroic, look, they weren't looking to really get anything in that round. I think the bomb down and what was 2 kills is probably best case scenario. The one issue I am starting to see for bait though is that they are playing the exact same setup every single round. And Hedrick, he's not moving around the map. And I think as I say that, he's now moving around the map. They're going for something a little bit different. They're going for a change of play, trying to go through into underpass, but Hedrick's been left alone. A collateral for Dexter. Hedrick's on 60 HP, and well, Heroic just spreading out and penalizing everybody.
Kind of crazy how quickly this has gone so far awry. But this is how a lot of those rounds that Heroic do end up winning sometimes go. They get those kind of early pickoffs due to aggression on either side, depending, or whatever the case. And generally speaking, they leverage that into a win here. We have seen bait come back from similar disadvantages before, though. A well-placed shot could be all they need, but nope, Dexter wins out that AWP battle, and these last 2 players are now caught. Nowhere to go. Okay, there you go. They'll crack open that door and give themselves a bit of space to work with, but as they peek through, it's Dexter once again. He's eventually taken out by MPL, but he's the last one left alive. A tough battle to deal with Tessus in mid, and no, he could not make it happen. And finally, Heroic will get another round on the board. And it's looking a little bit like Anubis. So this could be where Heroic bring it back. Yeah,
I mean, like, you had those just really early, like, uncomfortable rounds of... I think that might be... Don't hold me... That might be our first proper gun round. in round 7, where like
I believe
both
so,
teams
yes.
actually had everything. Like that was the first time in round 7. So sure, the scoreline was like 5-1 going into the round. Then you start having the question of like, well, it's actually the first time Heroic have had all the pieces of the puzzle and you know, etc. But yeah, like especially what's vocalized in that round is the fact that Dexter's Orb has not only won out the duel against Hedrick, but has also had serious impact, which was a concern that I was raising for Bait, where it's like, okay, Hedrick, you've had the Orb out quite a few rounds, and you're on 2 kills. Dexter has got more kills than you with the Orb than you've got kills, period, in 1 round.
Oh, that spray is just so unreal. The fact that there's like a wall in the way as well. Yeah, anti-eco things, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the kind of long-term repercussions of how those last couple of rounds have gone, just not ideal for Bait. And again, I have to bring back that thing. And I hate this. I hate kind of dogging on one player who's having a bad day, but because it is the AWPer, it matters.
And Dust2.
And Dust2, right? And they're investing into it, and it's not getting results. Obviously, in this round, they don't have the money to do so, but I think that it would be in their best interest to just stop putting that spend into it. You know, a few rounds left in this half.
I wouldn't agree with that. Like, I would actively say, like, you do not want to deprive them of that weapon. That's like that would be a big misplay for me, from my perspective. But NPL and Captain Kutka, they've certainly been picking up that slack, especially NPL, like he is having a very good day. But unfortunately, for Bait in this round, they go aggressive through B tunnels, something they haven't done before. And it would have been a nice play. They call out from the player in T-spawn. And now, because there's smokes separating the A players and now Alex, he's being wrapped upon from... It would be 3 different angles right now. He was not in a great position there. And I think for Bait, yep, you save. Like, you got to get out of there. Try keep as many weapons as you can. And I don't think they're going to even allow that to be the case. Bomb hasn't even been planted. Finally, it will now. Hedrick getting on the board. But it's all in vain.
A little bit of economic damage there. But at this point... it's really meaningless. Kixon's got over 10k. It's really whatever. Great resurgence from Heroic, yeah. And normally, so you've got that one CT that's kind of trapped, and normally I'd be like, just ignore him, right? But the fact that he's kind of between the bomb and the actual site, yeah, gotta chase it down. But like you said, 3 players, 3 different directions. Bit of a slaughter there. Really nothing to be done. And nothing really to be done in this round either. Again, it's one of those... Normally, you would want to say a little bit of economic damage would be great. But again, it's pointless at this moment. You need round wins. So, Heroic likely to even up the scoreline here. Potentially propel themselves to a 6th. Maybe even take the 7-5 half. They're on a bit of a roll here.
This is, yeah, feeling very reminiscent of Anubis. But to be fair, both of those contexts, you start kind of phrasing of like, well, it is the T side of a map that is T-sided, so should we really be having the conversation of them needing to come back into it? Shouldn't they just be, like, having that dominant streak to start? But the conversation line does then just go to the fact that, like, those first 7 rounds were so weird where they didn't have a full buy. As soon as they have the full buy, they're smiling. Dexter has the MVP. He's having a big impact. And also just the entries. I feel like we've seen really good entries from people like Shush the whole of today. Nerds is definitely someone where I would have wanted to see a little bit more from in this game especially. I feel like this is where he could have shined. And I think he's someone that, like, I really, really rate. And I think he's probably, in my opinion, is one of the better players in the world. And it does worry me when I look at, like, a Dust2, and the same was on Anubis where it was like 2 and 8, 3 and 8, whatever.
Yeah, not ideal. Alright, Bait. Back in the money. Back with something to work with. 2 rounds left in this half. Losing this round will be devastating. winning it. Heroic won't be too upset by that. They'll still be able to have a really good shot at that last round. So realistically for Bait here, you really want to see them make that resurgence. Again, the same kind of control that we've seen from them round after round. They're backing out of A-Long very quickly this time around, however. A little bit of information garnered that there's a lean towards B, and instantly we're starting to see that reinforcement come through. I think this is the right call to make, but bear in mind we do have Shush on a very far extreme push here, so the potential to change it up is there. Nert's gonna swing off of the flash, only good for one, but will get traded. Surely that's the call to push B.
I mean, it's just a very standard setup on short. This is a massive fight. Alex spots Kicksam, but the IGL, the North Macedonian, capitalizes first, pulls the trigger, draws the blood. However, Captain Kirker was not done towards short. Essential, oh, the trigger discipline, supreme as he puts Bait on 6.
He's putting Heroic on notice as well. 6-5 here, they've regained that lead, clawed their way back into it. And again, it felt like that was a round that Heroic had so much potential to come out on top of. Some really impactful early frags, but beautiful play there. Just to hold on, like you said, trigger discipline, not allow yourself to get too overzealous. But as mentioned, Heroic still have a very robust buy into this, and Shush will open it up with the first kill here. Now Nert's going a little bit aggressive. It wasn't even Nert's. I thought it was going to be, sorry, Alex that got that kill, but no, it's going to be Head Trick that manages to get that AWP shot. Meanwhile, Bomb's making its way over towards A. They should be aware that there's usually a bit of an extreme or extremity lurker. So Bait not pulling the trigger just yet on the rotation. There's definitely a world here where they do re-hit this.
Cat and mouse in middle. Both players do connect, but Degster, he's the one who draws that lethal blow. Bait, a big void of information now towards middle, and that's why we see Ascenthial kind of being pushed off the A-bomb site a little bit, but MPL, great information, and you know, it's a very brazen swing, but he not only gets a kill, but confirms as model players towards A long, and that's going to cause Alex to also rotate away from B after pushing B tunnels. So Bait in a prime opportunity to claim 7 in this round, even though it's a 3 versus 3. The City side have a perfect read, and Alex is also coming over with a full belt of utility.
Heroic have slowed down massively, but they have such an advanced position here that retreat, they'd have to invest some serious util into it if they did want to retreat. So unfortunately it is going to have to be a little bit of a committal here. Nice Molotov just to deny any sort of an attempt at a plant. Ascenthial, good shot there onto Kicks, and Tessus had crossed over but instantly caught out. Now it's Dexter all alone. Low HP, 1 versus 3 will not be allowed. 7-5 in favor of Bait, and they have just put Heroic on notice.
Tell me now why you want to wait. Running out of words you wanna say. I've been looking for you, looking for you, looking for you.
Bait, they maintain their lead. It had a pretty good start. It was a very tumultuous beginning on Dust2. A lot of back and forth. We actually had our first proper gun round in round 7. And even though Heroic looked like they were building back into their T side, 2 very nice rounds in consecutive manner do put Bait in the lead. And well, can they hold on to their lead this time, unlike Anubis?
Yeah, Anubis was another back and forth affair. Very, very scrappy, but ultimately it was Heroic who took us into OT and eventually won it out. We'll see if they can replicate that here. A great shot from Shush to get that opener. I'm going to try to follow that up, but eventually we'll get taken down. Kixon's there to back him up, but not going to be much longer for this world. So low on that HP. 3 versus 3 here now. And they are at the very least going to be able to get this bomb planted. That's going to give them a bit of a boon into the next round no matter what. How do Heroic try to pull off this retake? It can be so incredibly difficult. They're going to funnel through the window instantly. Kicks in with a low HP. Taken out. Tesses quick to follow. And Dexter, last one left alive. Good for the first. I don't think there's too much more that can be done here. Oh, another one on top of it. No way he gets the defuse. Well, unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Heroic, like, you had the setup. You had Shush taking the first contact. He gets the opening kill. Nerds gets baited in perfectly, and he misses. Come on, Nerds. You got to get that content for your social media team. It's 4 and 11. You've been set up, and then you miss. But that second round pistol going in favor of Bait. There's a little bit of alarm bells going off now if I'm Heroic. You're like, ooh, okay, so we lost the first half and then lost the pistol round. It's not looking too ideal, but they're going to be forcing back into it. And we did see this kind of like back and forth force buys just continue for so long. But they did favor Bait the first time around. I wonder if they'll do the same here again.
Bearing in mind, Heroic, the last 2 pistol rounds we had, they lost the pistol and then they won the second round. So there is a world. A Sentinel now down. Numbers advantage confirmed. A second will come through from Tesses. What a shot with that Deagle. And the Galil was recovered from Nerds in mid as well, or by Nerds rather. With only 3 players left alive here for Bait. Heroic very quickly now reinforcing this A site. This is doable.
There's still 1 player in the smoke. Tesses, that's a big frag. And he gets away as well. 2 versus 4. Everybody's here for Heroic. Shooting the goose NPL. A bit jittery. That's not a player. It does move in real life, but it's a painting. It's a wall painting. Okay. Can they try to bring themselves out of this? Oh, that's a perfect timing. Unfortunately, yeah, really nice, just constantly being belittled. Bait have no idea where to look at Heroic. They went out the force buys, and we continue.
We go again. I'm still kind of really impressed by that first Deagle shot from Tesses that gets the second kill of the round. So tasty. And honestly, instrumental kill as well. I think, you know, if Tesses loses, if he dies there and doesn't get one, that round goes a very different way. So, important kill from him there. But it's another round where the winner of the pistol gets ecoed and the economy reset comes into fruition. Now Nerds will catch out NPL. Very aggressive positioning here into mid. They're gonna attempt to overrun him and they will succeed, but a bit of util to follow that up does some tasty chip damage. That's gonna bring the numbers even, but still heavy advantage here for Heroic.
Yeah, Bait just have a big absence of map control and they'll be walking right into Dexter's AWP on round 3. After losing the pistol round, Hedrick's like, what's doink? Where does that come from? Beautiful. Beautiful craft with the Vox Hollows and Desert Strike? It's fitting on Dust2. Also, I think they missed their mid smoke. Yeah, I was gonna say that did land very far. Yeah. Okay. Well, Heroic have mid control. That's I don't think Bait realized they've missed that smoke. So you're gonna have Kicksan. I would actually love him to like clear this out right now, because Shush is very isolated. Like there's a world where he could just get overrun, but oh, never mind.
My God.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're like, no, that actually isn't a world. He's just, yep, shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what's the opposite of whack-a-mole? Because he was the mole, but like the mole fights back.
Yeah, the return of the mole.
The revenge of the mole. You just when you thought it was safe to go back to whack-a-mole. Okay.
Return of the Sith? No, Return of the Mole. I love that. That's sorry. That's really tickled something for me.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. But that's Heroic bringing it ever so much closer now. 7 to 8 year Dexter. Oh jeez.
In the back of the head. I mean, it is an eco round. Like, okay,
yeah.
If there's a round to gonna have that like crazy like mid down push where you shoot the team on your back in the head, like that's the round. You know, you get out the craziness, you get out whatever's going on there. You come onto the rifles. You've still got like you know, you're still in a fine position if you're Bait. You're still 8 to 8, but everyone now run our first gun round in this second half. It's come a lot quicker than the first half. But Dexter, like this orb, I'm really scared. Like it's going to be constantly moving around the map. He's going to be, I think, a lot more mobile than what Headtrick was doing. And he's already showed presence towards long. I wouldn't be surprised if he moves away now because he's already shot. But he's going to wait for the utility first. Like, you know, the smoke's gone. Oh, he's holding the smoke. This would be a crazy read if Captain Kirko walks through it. Oh, good nade.
Oh, good flash, and that's going to allow Kurtka to cross as well. Dexter now very aware of it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, it's Shush again. Absolutely stellar anchor here. Finally will get taken out, but he takes 2 down with him, and Nertz is able to swing and get Alex, so all of that for Nort. How does Nert get that one? Oh, it's a beautiful performance there. Another solid round for Heroic. I mean, we thought there might be a map 3 in store, but Heroic seem to be in control here.
Like, when we hit that 5-5 mark, I was thinking, oh, Heroic, they're dominating, right? And then Bait played these lovely 2 rounds in a row. They win the pistol. I'm like, oh, okay, so okay, there is a contention for map 3. But then Heroic have just done exactly what they did on the first half, where they've just started playing like legitimate lights out Counter-Strike. And I'm like, oh, okay, so are we just gonna, like, is this, if Heroic play how they're playing now, like, I don't see Bait being able to stop them, even though it is, like, currently a 1-round game. But we're up against a low buy. Heroic have great funds, you know, that is not an issue. And it's just all about making it as clean as possible. They've actually got a perfect setup. Like, Dexter's in the prime place once again. He's going to hit the first shot, back away. Kicksan, he had the Molo primed, but then it's a bit late. Either way, it's all fine. There was also a lovely grenade to go on top of that. Molotov actually missed. There was a gap where Headtrick could actually work around it, but overall, Kicksan, it's a lovely 4K, and that anti-eco gets dealt with perfectly.
That brings us up to double digits here for Heroic, and Bait have not been able to pick up a round since the pistol. This was a 7-5 half. And if you recall, in our previous series, they also only managed to get 1 round in the second half. So, hopefully that's not going to be the case here again. Do have a buy into this, so let's see if they can get themselves that all-important opener. Nertz, again, the aggressive angle. He doesn't even have to do it. It's Dexter to hold the line. The HE to come through. The follow-up from Nertz is great. Instantly 2 kills in favor of Heroic. And how much more can Bait realistically do in this round? Esenthal caught between a rock and a hard place. So little place to move. Headtrick going to try and whittle away those forces as much as possible, and it will actually cause Heroic now to pull back. They don't want to overstay their welcome there in mid. They've done enough to give themselves the advantage. Now they just have to wait.
I'm actually shocked that Bait come out of that in a 3 versus 4. And I actually think they should have overstayed the welcome. I think they should have forced the issue. I guess that there was a lack of information, right? Like they didn't know that there was only one player in B tunnels. But if Nerds and Shush had pushed more aggressively together, one from lower, one from B main, like they would have been in a 5 versus 2 right now. But with 40 seconds left, Bait actually have some feasibility about this round. The one big issue is that they might just be walking into Dexter's AWP. He played this exact position last round. Do they anticipate it because of that? Headtrick going for this peak. Oh no, Essential goes first. Cranium cracked open. And Dexter, fearless. Maybe should have by this time a little bit more, because Headtrick with 15 seconds gives his team the opportunity, but unfortunately there's no time left. 10 seconds. It's a 1 versus 2 for the ace. And, well, they're just playing with him right now. They're playing with their food. And 3 seconds. Can he actually find this kill? No, Shush decides he doesn't want to jump hump anymore. And you know what? That round was way too close for comfort if you're heroic.
Honestly, what a time for Headrick to come alive. He's now top fragging on his team after that round. It's a great one from him.
Sure, yeah. Impact frags.
And it's really interesting that it happens here on the T side. And unfortunately, just not enough to secure them that round. Heroic, do well enough just to play out that time a little bit. Double AWP setup coming through here. Honestly, I love it. I'm a big fan of the double AWP. It's very risky, but I think, it has some very strong merit when it does work out. And the fact that it's Nerds here, who's been playing this aggressive position so consistently, that's going to make escaping relatively difficult, but never mind. Not going to be a problem after all. He's just flashed off of the position. Dexter not able to get anything off of the swing, however, and that ordnance doesn't get any value, but a great little shot there to come through. Oh, God. The double AWPs absolutely sing here. And again, it's heroic with... Oh, they've lost the advantage.
Wait, look at Long. Look at Long. What's going on? Alex gives Bait back now the lead. This was a 5 versus 3. Heroic were chilling. They were smiling, both Nerds and Dexter, flexing their AWP muscles. But now, like this should be map point already. But instead, we've had Bait fight their way through. And this round's going to completely be coming down to Shush. It's basically a 1 versus 3 for him towards this B part of the map. And wait, they might not anticipate him so close in B tunnels. Arthur has just been cleared. There they all are. Bomb's been dropped, but he can only get 1. He had to get a multi-frag there. And because of it, Dexter now a 1 versus 2, and he's all the way over in like T-spawn.
Oh, this round goes so completely awry. It starts off beautifully. They're not able to hold on to that advantage. Now Dexter has swapped over onto a Galil. He's going to attempt to go for this, and honestly, why not? You've got more money than you know what to do with. And if you can try to just keep this a little bit expensive for Bait, they would at least be happy with that. The first kill to come through connects beautifully. No idea where the second player is. So he's only good for 1. Senthal, a beautiful round from him. Absolutely unreal. 4 kills to give Bait just that extra lifeline and another chance to come back into this.
You could say an essential round. There you go. I've been waiting for that one. He's someone actually, it's a really interesting one because I think he's someone on this roster that maybe doesn't shine as much as the others, but he's still, like, I was talking to Trav with this a while ago when we cast them. He's still a really good player in his own right. He doesn't have, like, he's surrounded by, like, superstars and other players succeed. But, well, speaking about succeeding, it's a wacky long take and, oh, they all get spammed for a smoke. Utility is fantastic from Heroic, and Bait just run into the belly of the beast. There's a meat grinder inside of it, and Heroic now on map and series point, and also elimination point for Bait.
I feel like Heroic took that last round personally.
Yeah, they were like, okay, let's not lose the 5 versus 3 this time.
Yeah, if we could not, that would be good. And the really tough position here for Bait, because obviously winning that round meant that the Round loss bonus was somewhat reset, so while they do have a barrage of rifles, it's not as robust as they'd like in the utility department. They're going to have to be extra careful. They do catch out Nertz. Nertz kind of overstays his welcome there. They know that he likes to play that position, so they handle that very well. Be a free upgrade for them as well, so we'll be happy with that at least. How do Heroic bounce back from this? They can't allow this to slip through their fingers.
Ooh, I like how Dexter just puts distance in middle now. I think he's expecting a play through B, but fortunately, contact's going to be taken on short by Kixan momentarily. I was going to say after the smoke fades, but, well, they're not even going to wait for that, and they're not even going to wait for the Molotov. What is going on? Bait throwing away the man advantage. 2 players just run to their death, and are they just going to commit to this? Like, how? And it's working? Like, how is this a 3 versus 3? Kixan, unfortunately, subjugated, still alive, denies the bomb, doesn't deny the bomb, but still gets the frag. Alex looking to clip his wings. A 1 versus 3 is needed to keep Bait not only alive in this map, but the whole tournament. And he's lost track of Kixan. What is going on? How has the IGL got 4 kills there? How has he survived throughout all of this? And Heroic lived to see another day in the IEM Rio close qualifier.
All these questions and more. Unfortunately, we don't always have the exact answers.
I don't
sometimes
think I have any answers for that round.
You know what? Sometimes it just do be like that sometimes.
Just don't know.
Well done to Heroic.